You're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon,
And I'm Tyler.
and you could see that Tiffy is not here. Tiffany is currently in Japan, and Tiffany, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, you better bring me back something good. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, just to fill in her role, we are not professionals in any way, shape, or form. We're not good writers. We're not professional dungeon masters, players. We just really like this hobby, and we like to come up with things. And I dragged Tyler in because he said yes.
Yeah, it pretty much sums it up.
You've been on this before.
Yes, I have.
And so it shouldn't be that hard. Instead of making spooky things, we can make anything we want.
Oh boy, the world is our oyster.
If you did not see the episode Tyler was in, he is in a Questober episode. God, what was the name of that episode?
You know, I had just pulled that up the other day to show my girlfriend. I'm not sure.
It was Cult of the Carnival. That's what it was.
Cult of the Carnival.
Yeah, the wooden dolls with those bleeding tears or something like that. Yeah, that was a creepy one.
It was.
So we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Oh,
where are we going?
It's been like
8 years,
9 years,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked for that last company for 6, and then
it's funny because the way I remember how much I've known you is take your daughter's age at 6 months.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
I met you
6 months before she was born.
Yeah, and then I remember you taking time off for your daughter and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've known you for almost 9 years now. Ugh,
I know,
too
right?
long.
This is what adult friendships look like, huh?
I guess so. Just sitting in front of microphones talking to each other.
Well, it's either that or sitting in front of a computer with microphones talking to each other on games.
Yeah, we're either doing it face to face or far apart.
Right. Actually, that reminds me of back when your daughter was younger. We would play games all the time together, in which every time you were on your computer, you told me that your daughter thought or recalled you being on the computer playing with Brandon.
Yep. Every time I was on the computer, whether it was for work, whether I was watching random videos, playing a game by myself or whatever, it was always playing with Brandon. It was great.
It's cute, but it sounds really sad.
I promise I have other friends.
Sure.
I know.
Anyways, God, we don't have any banter or anything like that. I don't know. Is there anything going on in your life that you want to tell the internet?
Anything going on? Well, I mean, I'm getting back into 3D printing, so dealing with the Soval SV08, if you've ever heard of that.
Nope.
It's a newer printer that's come out. It's got some mixed reviews. It's based on an open source platform that everybody loves, and I can see that it's like an old house, right? Like the bones are good. You can make something great out of it, but boy howdy is that thing gonna need some plaster and paint. So with this printer, I'm just kind of working out the kinks on it so far, but once I actually get it running, I plan on, obviously family stuff like, oh, Easter time, let's make some crackable open eggs, or like, let's make some Halloween decorations and some Christmas stuff, but
things to justify the purchases.
Yeah, but like more family-oriented stuff. But I also want to get into designing car parts and like functional things around the house and stuff. My head's been spinning with different like ideas for things that I could make, but now that, for a while there, my printer was dead, so I just didn't have anything to be able to make it with. So I've got all these thoughts and plans and stuff in my head that I want to get out. So I plan on working on all of those.
That's one of the things that, like, I think everyone should have at least one creative hobby.
For sure.
Me is tabletop games and this podcast and all that stuff. Well, this podcast wraps together with just tabletop RPGs.
Right.
I love creating stories and all that stuff. I think everyone should have that own creative thing, whether it's like painting or anything like that.
I mean, it could be as big as, designing or like creating a painting from scratch or whatever, but it could even be just as simple as having a coloring book that you can figure out the colors and stuff to do, because just having that outlet of
Control
yes.
and your own design, which everyone's design is very different.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be complex or groundbreaking or anything. Just having something to keep your mind running and to keep those creative energies going, because I think it follows along with, you'll start to lose being a child, having those creative ideas and playing tabletop RPGs, or like with D&D, creating the characters and acting them out or something, getting your head into that different space where you try and level with how somebody else would be doing something in some crazy situation.
Yeah, it teaches empathy.
It teaches empathy, and it keeps you connected to that kid side of yourself that likes to play and likes to screw around and make weird things happen.
Is that what you did with your one D&D character that I was the DM of?
Yeah, Arjun.
No, my character was Arjun.
Oh right, no, mine was Naren.
Naren,
Yeah, the dragonborn ranger with his little dragon puppy.
It was a drake.
He's a dragon puppy.
Ah, man. Yeah, your first D&D experience, you were the solo player and I was the DM. And I just did a generic fantasy world kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. Like I found myself hoping for us to play another round of it and like wondering how he was going to handle things. And
I had an ending in mind, but then life got in the way and then we kind of canceled it. I don't know if you ever want to actually continue that.
Oh, dude, I've been thinking about that off and on, like...
Or just start a new campaign with new characters.
Yeah, something. Like, I really like the whole Drake Warden Ranger. Like, I do want to explore that more and see what it does at higher levels and how you can utilize it and stuff. But there's all so many different classes and so many different ideas and combinations. Like, I really want to make...
Actually, speaking of which, I had the funniest recent character idea.
What was that?
It was a wizard class. This is purely just homebrew, but it's comedic. Which is a wizard class, but I want to like talk to a DM about allowing me to have like wild magic. You know how like wild magic sorcerers, there's a chance that it might go awry and some other effect happen.
Yeah.
I want to just attach like still have the same usual like school or whatever and your specialization, but I wanted just to add in a wild magic effect by chance because I was going to have the wizard be dyslexic and might misread the spells from the spell book, causing a wild magic effect.
That's perfect. Oh, that could cause so much problems.
And it was like a recent idea. I was like, I want to do this, but it's purely an add-on, and I don't know if a DM will allow that.
I mean, I don't see why not. It's not something that would...
Well, it depends on the setting, depends on the DM, depends on the party. It's always about, like, context.
I just wonder, like, what their issue with it would be. Like, it's not giving you some stark advantage or anything.
If you want to be a very serious campaign, if you want to lead a very serious campaign...
That makes sense.
Wild magic is not really a good setting for seriousness.
Yeah.
Or if this is a campaign where it's, like, send the dark apocalypse or something like that.
It's the end of the world. Dracula's come to kill us all. Ooh, look, unicorn.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, there's tones with everything, and you need to match the tones.
That makes sense.
And that's my argument for that. But if I ever get a chance, I want to play that character because I think it'll be funny.
Yeah, that'd be really amusing. I still like the idea of making, like, I've always thought of like a lizard that's super lithe, go with a dragonborn, but make it really skinny and make it much more like a
lizard folk.
Yeah, like more of a salamander and how it moves and stuff, or more snake-like, but have it be like a monk. So it's just bouncing off the walls, crawling everywhere, and then hitting everybody from all kinds of angles and stuff. I just thought that would be amusing.
But then needs to always keep his skin moist, so always needs to douse himself in water.
Yeah, or like he has like oil, like an oil jar. He's maybe he has the everlasting jar,
the alchemy jar.
Yeah, he has the alchemy jar, and he has to keep it so that every day he pours out the oil and he lubricates his skin.
He just holds it like a
Puts the oil on
shower,
his
and then just
skin.
like a shower scene, but it was like with
Uh-huh.
grease.
It's all slow and sloppy. Oh, I didn't think about that part, but that would be kind
Gross.
of fun too. And then you could play off of like he could get bonuses to his AC when he's fully coated or something.
No, it makes it harder to grapple.
Yeah, that too. That would work. But yeah, I think that idea would be really fun to play with. And then make him, because he's a monk, he's not going to have high intelligence anyway. So you don't have to play him as some smart character.
Actually, this is Chance. There was another character idea. I've told Tiffany about this. It was based off of one of our Party Starter episodes that inspired this.
Okay.
It was a Oath of Vengeance Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, their entire goal is to find the corporate office of this one chain place to complain about the employee at that said chain place. So basically, I made a Karen who oath of vengeance against this employee.
Oh Jesus!
And the god answered.
That's what god would be the patron? The lawbringer or like the lawgiver or something?
I don't know, some homebrew like god of Karens. I don't know.
This will not stand. We need to find his manager.
The god of customer service. I thought
like
it'd be
Dionysus and the customer satisfaction god.
Yeah, you make a Karen who's would declare an oath of vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyways, so we are doing a normal quest board episode.
Okay.
Basically we have a list that's not really themed or anything like that, and we will see what we are doing today. Tyler, you got the D100?
Yeah, I got it. We are 14.
Wow. Rolling low.
I know.
We haven't done 14 yet.
Hey, look at that. It's a new one.
I was
for
worried
me
that
and
you
the
roll like
viewers.
middle and then it's something we already did. Goblin encampment. A goblin encampment has appeared in the southern part of town across the ravine. They've been there for days and don't seem to be aggressive, but we can't be so sure. Find out what they're doing. If they're a threat, please dispatch with them. Well, we gotta make sure that they're not a threat then.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's funnier.
Yeah, no, they had. I just because what we were talking about earlier before we started recording. I want to.
That doesn't exist in this online.
Yeah, I know, but let's pick something that's off the beaten path, like not the obvious. These goblins aren't out to hurt anything. Maybe they're.
As a true quest board fashion, we always like to do stupid twists.
Yeah, do something else.
So what would be the something else? If they're not a threat, why did they appear in the southern part of town across the ravine? So it's not like immediate danger.
Mm-hmm. So we could go the route of maybe they were chased and they were trying to escape something and they reached the other side of the ravine and that's as far as they can go because it's a deep ravine or something. And whatever it is that's trying to get them is going to come for them. And you can either help them across the ravine or like help them fight on the other side. Or it could be something like they were just trying to catch some wildebeest, or like maybe there's some mythical goblin animal out there that they've heard about, like the Sasquatch or something. But they got enough of the goblins to be like, oh, I saw the gutter snipe. It's in here. It's in the ravine. Let's go get it. And trying to go after it because, goblins aren't exactly all that intelligent.
I just thought of a stupid thing.
What? Go for it.
What if these goblins are like tourists that are just viewing the human city like, ooh, look at what the humans are doing. Click, click. Like they're viewing an animal at a zoo.
If you watch over here at the Blue House, you'll see them baking what they call a PA. They call it a PA and have it be a pie, and they're just mispronouncing everything.
I was trying to figure out what PA was.
It's a PA. No,
I'm like, are you saying pita weird, like pita bread, or that's what I thought you were going for.
No.
Yeah. What happens if like they've
got like a piece of paper that tells them the different objects that people have? Go like full Arial in The Little Mermaid, and it's a dingle hopper,
and like they see like over the course of the days, people just with like binoculars. Looking back, like they think the goblins are like snooping at or like spying at the thing for like weaknesses or how it rated, and they're like, ooh, ah.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, that's so interesting. Let's go.
Are we gonna go with that stupid approach?
Yeah, let's do that one. That sounds like fun. So what's the goal of the party
But
then?
then what do we add to that? Is the party going to then just discover that and then it's done, or
So maybe the party just goes over to them, talks to them, discovers that, and then finds out that the goblins are going on. It's like a tourist vacation thing. So it's multiple places and scenes that they're doing. But the party finds out that the places, like the other places that they want to take the goblins to, are dangerous. And your job is to either dissuade the goblins from going to these dangerous places, like, oh, we know that there's owl bears in that marsh, or oh, there's a
well,
wyvern over that field or something.
this also requires one person in the party to actually know Goblin, though. If none of them speak Goblin,
Well, maybe one of the if the goblins are on a tour guide expedition,
like the leader of the tour
knows common.
Oh, okay.
Like it can speak. Maybe it's just broken common, and that's why its pronunciations of like the different human objects are terrible. So they can speak broken common, and you could get across that. Or if they had like a telepathic bond, they could use sending or message to be able to talk to each other.
I think that still requires them to understand the language you're speaking,
or tongues. I mean, you can use tongues.
Comprehend languages. I think
comprehend languages.
I think that's a first level spell.
Yeah. So there'd be multiple routes for you to be able to communicate with the goblins, and maybe they'd be willing to like write and try and write broken common or something too. But like, yeah, I think it would be kind of fun to have them be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go on this great adventure. We wanted to see these beautiful owlbear nests, and oh, we know they're so peaceful. And you're like, no, they're not.
Oh, you're saying like it'll be this tour is the leader of the tour has very much misconceptions about a lot of things.
Yes.
Okay.
Completely following along with how goblins are not intelligent. So he's from like a totally different area, and he's just heard of these things, like pull a Volo, where he's like knows all about dragons and all of these crazy things and went on all these crazy adventures, but none of it happened, and he doesn't know anything about any of these things. So it might be kind of fun to go through that route.
Okay, so if we do this, I guess the rest of this episode is what like the DM could pick whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's listening to this. So the rest of the episode is us coming up with random misconceptions of random D&D monsters.
I mean, it could be different monsters. It could be different places.
Well, it's like if this is a human part and they chose like I think goblins know well enough that humans are dangerous and attack them.
That's why they keep their distance.
That's why for the ravine. But maybe the misconception of like you said, the PIE or whatever. But for the other animals, they don't know as much, or it's not as commonly known thing, and so that's why the tour guide has these misconceptions.
Yeah, or it's just a blatant opposite. Like, oh yeah, owl bears are such peaceful creatures. They really take after the owl, not the bear. They have it be a mama owl bear.
They love to be cuddled.
Nest.
That's why they look like big pillow.
Yeah, exactly. Or like
pillow made of feathers.
Or it could be like, oh, they go to a haunted house and it's actually haunted, and the ghosts in the house or the wraiths or whatever you want to put try and hurt the goblins, and it's your job to basically play what are those quests called where you have a tag along that you need to keep safe.
Oh, escort mission?
Yeah, it could be like an escort mission where you have to guide
them. Because everyone loves escort missions.
Well, yeah, you got to add something different, You could do.
What happens if one of the stops is at the coast, in which they want to see a merfolk?
Sure.
Which they're extremely territorial.
Yeah, and you pull out some marrows or whatever.
They say like they love swimming with people.
Yeah. Let's go swim with the merfolk. It's like dolphins, right?
And then have the players roll like nature. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm. And then you can either dissuade them from completely getting in the water, or if you fail that check, they go in the water and then you have to fight.
You have to kill a bunch of merfolk.
Yeah.
Yes.
And keep them alive. And you've got like maybe there's rafts, there's a couple of rafts that you can push out into the water for the players that can't swim super good or something. And so they end up trying to fight on the rafts, and the merfolk are trying to pull people off.
Whatever they plan on doing that could be easily like, oh, you go to a fishing village or fishing town, and it's like you
Yeah.
rent a couple of boats, but then you pick up the goblins because they're not gonna let the goblins into the town, obviously.
Right.
But
Yeah, that'd work out well.
That is all up for the players to figure out themselves. We just present the problem.
Yeah, that's different routes they could go.
Yeah. Is there any other monster that we could think of a misconception for?
Oh boy.
You could the very last one, depending on how like the level, be like, and now the final one. You get to see a dragon's horde.
No, yeah. And that's
the party will be like, you can make it like a young dragon or adult dragon or whatever, depending on the player's level. But it could very much be just like, they say it's like a mountain of gold, and these goblins never seen that much gold, so it'll be like the final like finale kind of thing to the tour.
And maybe it could be something where, because players would probably try to head that off at the pass, that it could be something where the goblin leader is really cagey about where the last spot is. Like, don't worry, you'll see. I'll bring you there. It'll be amazing. You're going to love it. And then right outside the cave is where he's like, it's a dragon's lair,
Oh, very last minute drop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That way the players don't try and back out of it ahead of time or have the idea to back out of it because of what it is.
Okay. That's good. That's good. It's like, we will see our own dragon's horde.
Yeah.
And everyone gets super excited.
And then they all just start rushing in, and the players have no time to stop it. There we go. I like that one.
What other like land monster or something like that?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at the monster manual to
really
like, think of different creatures and stuff. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the generic ones though, because I'm like, okay, what happens if like they find a cave that's like somewhat connected to the Underdark, and it's like, we know a displacer beast lives here, and
yeah, that'd work. Or like you could go with oh no, that wouldn't work. I think it would be funny to work a mimic into there somehow.
It's hard to predict. If it's like a tour that's set on locations, it's hard to predict for that.
Yeah. But what would other scenic things be? So like peeping in on people is normal. Peeping in on a dragon would be normal. Like an owl's bare nest, that could be a thing because we do monkey expeditions all the time. Go see the gorillas. And then I like the one at the coast because people go and swim with dolphins and stuff all the time too. Are there any like small, highly territorial birds or like avian creatures?
I'm thinking of the first thing that came to mind was cockatrice.
Because it might be kind of cool to have them like try and go to an aviary display too and be like, oh, these are such peaceful birds, go and pet them. And then the goblins all start turning into stone and like.
What happens if like, oh God, what happens if it's like, oh, birds live up high, so we go to the mountains and they encounter like 2 or 3 harpies.
Yeah, those were the quote unquote birds.
Yeah, those are the birds.
Look at them, they're so beautiful. And then they all
they start singing, and then they get hypnotized and then start walking towards a cliff.
Yeah, and then you have to try and save them. Oh man, that'd be a good one too. I like this. For all of these though, like with each of those, the levels probably,
mid-level.
Yeah, you're probably
it's
looking
probably
like 7
to 7, maybe 8 even, depending on party size.
Yeah.
But that sounds good. I like that one.
Okay, so we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything more.
Yeah, and then, at the very end, the goblin leader is so thankful for your help and stuff. Well, okay, would he be thankful for your help and being like, oh, well, this was so much worse than I thought it was going to be, and we all would be dead if it wasn't for you? Or is he going to be completely oblivious and just be like, boy, that was such a great trip. Didn't you have fun?
I think he'll be oblivious thing because, one, they're low intelligence.
Yeah.
Everyone will have fun.
Yeah, they're all having fun getting turned to
normal
stone and dying and all this crazy stuff.
Well, if we take away the cockatrice one,
yeah.
Or we could say homebrew, when you turn to stone, time doesn't pass in your head. So you're not in a coma. You're just like time stops, and then all of a sudden you're awake again, and
Oh,
you
what
don't realize
happened?
it's been
Yeah.
24 hours.
Yeah.
It's you could go either, but if you take away the cockatrice one
Mhm.
and just replace it with harpies,
Mhm.
then they just think it's a lovely musical experience.
Yeah, and they're enjoying it the whole time until they either
So
fall
every
off a
single
cliff
one of
or-
them would have fun at having a blast and just
Mhm.
be a bunch of rowdy 6-year-olds.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a school tour is all it is, and you're the
A
chaperone.
deadly school tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized we just made a school field trip.
Pretty much. Yep. It's stop to stop
A
on
school
a
field trip if you were set in Happy Tree Friends universe.
Why don't we set that the goblins are all kid goblins too? Like actually make it a school
Oh
field
my
trip for
God.
goblins.
As long as you don't mind kids dying, because those goblins could die in this
Right.
the entire time.
Well, let's leave that up to the DM. They can choose the age of the goblins. It could be like a senior bucket list thing. It could be like just a tourist trap that this goblin leader was running, or it could be
It's a
field
mixture
trip.
where it's actual families because this is a
Yeah.
touristy thing. Okay. I guess this is how we're going to do this quest.
Oh, I love it.
This was an interesting one. If you put this in your campaign, please let us know down in the comments of this YouTube video on X at Questboard Pod or on Blue Sky at Questboard. If you have a job posting of your own that you want us to make a quest out of, let us know on any of those sites. I think with that, I wish you all a good night. And Tyler, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. This has been great.
And in the words of Tiffany, happy questing.